Hobart School of Welding Technology presents Training in Oxy-Acetylene Welding, Cutting, and Brazing. Topic number 26, Job Practice. Square groove braze weld, butt joint, flat position. Objective: to be able to produce quality square groove braze welds on butt joints in the flat position. The finished braze weld should be flat to slightly convex and about 1/2 inch wide, flowing through the joint to bond thoroughly with the edges. The weld symbol could appear as follows. On the arrow side, deposit a square groove braze weld on a joint with a 3/32 inch root opening, penetrating completely to the root side and having a convex face. And note that the TB in the tail bracket specifies torch brazing. Material: 11 gauge mild steel plate, filler metal, 3/32 inch diameter type RCU-ZNC. Equipment: oxygen and acetylene supply and equipment, protective clothing, gloves and goggles, striker and pliers, tip orifice size number 56, tip cleaner number 56. Gas pressure settings: oxygen 6 psi, acetylene 6 psi. Flame slightly oxidizing. The workpiece for this practice is made from 2 mild steel plates, tack welded together at each end to form a square groove joint with a 3/32 inch root opening. For braze welding, flux is needed for preventing oxidation and for absorbing impurities. A thin, even flux coating is applied to the filler rod by heating 2 to 3 inches of the rod, then dipping it in the powdered flux. The coating should be about a 1/16 of an inch thick. The flame is adjusted so that it is slightly oxidizing. Using the flux-coated rod, tack weld the 2 plates together, then place them in position on 2 fire bricks. Make the tack welds about 1/4 inch long. Use a 90-degree work angle and a 35 to 40-degree push travel angle, directing the torch on the right end of the joint. Hold the filler rod at the same angle as the torch, but in the opposite direction. When the metal becomes dull red, touch the rod to the spot to melt a little flux and filler metal, and continue heating until the metal is hot enough to melt the filler metal when touched to the area. Then move along the joint, adding filler metal as needed to fill the groove and leave a little reinforcement on the top. When the filler rod melts down to where there is little flux left, dip the rod in flux to replenish the supply. When the braze weld is complete, remove the flux on both sides with a wire brush. The finished braze weld should flow completely into the joint, have a slightly convex face, and be about 3/8 inch wide. The joint should be completely filled on the back side. Too fast a travel speed or not enough heat will produce a highly convex bead that does not bond with the workpiece at the edges of the bead. Too much heat will produce a rough, discolored weld. A white powder of oxidized zinc will be present, and the braze weld may be excessively concave on the face and convex at the root. Too much oxygen will promote porosity and cause an uneven surface. A properly finished braze will be flat to slightly convex, bonding thoroughly with the joint edges with complete penetration to the root side. Inspect the braze weld and continue practice.